Y'all, so we just got back from running some errands and I gotta show you what I found when we got home. Sorry for the wind. This is Oklahoma and it's windy. Look at here. Woohoo! Wood chips. You know you're a homesteader when a pile of wood chips makes you super happy. Let me get out of this wind real quick so you can hear me better. So a tip to save money is when you call up your local utility office. They have a, woo, lighting, hello. Let's see if we can get it here. There we go. Anyway, so let it adjust. Anyway, I know it's so silly. I get so excited when I see wood chips in my yard. So our local utility office, they just go and pile when they're cutting down trees and limbs and stuff. They mulch it up and then they go pile out the other end of town, out where you can go get them. However, here's a tip. We've done this before. They were cutting down trees along our driveway. And we said, hey, what are you gonna do with those? And they said, well, we're just gonna go dump them. I said, well, you're right here. How about you just dump them in my yard? So we've actually had a smaller pile that you may have seen when I walked out there, and we've lived off of that for a while now. We put it in our garden. We actually use it if we have holes in our yard. We'll fill it up with that. Anyway, so we've lived off of that for a while now, and the soil underneath is so moist and so rich because it's all decomposed. Anyway, so our utility office was the tree crew was cutting down trees again along our road the past couple weeks. So we stopped the day as we drove by and we said, hey, when you're done with that, can you just drop it? We'll save you the trip. That's all on the other side of town. We'll save you a trip. Just go down our driveway and drop it. So the guy came by this morning and said, do you still want those? Where do you want them? So anyway, we came back from town and I got super excited because I just love free stuff like that. I think that's part of homesteading is, I've talked a lot about it before, about using the means that we have and saving money. It's all a mindset. And so going the extra mile and asking for things like that, the worst they can say is no. And that's free now, and it is great for the garden. We use that on top of the dirt all around the plants, and it keeps the soil super moist and super nutrient underneath. Hey guys, what's up? So today we are working on building a few new raised beds. We found a way to do it that costs minimal. Compared to some of the ones that we wanted to buy, we're gonna be close to $200 a piece, which is just crazy for us who are trying to homestead on a budget. So, Kenneth went to Lowe's, grabbed the supplies, and we're gonna make them with y'all.
So, we are going to be making 8x4 raised gardens, and instead of spending the outrageous cost for lumber right now, if you can get cedar, do cedar. That's your best bet anyway. But I think we priced out what it would take to do just plain pine or whitewood, whatever whatever the generic lumber is at Lowe's, and I mean you're talking $200 at least for just to get one raised bed, and that's to get one that's at 2.5 feet or 3 feet. I think I spent $400 in material and got enough to do for 4 8x4 beds, and so we're gonna go with that and see how that works out. Yeah, so this will take 3 sheets of sheet metal to make one bed that's 8x4. You got 2 over there that I'm leaving and cutting this one in half. And then because of kind of how flimsy this is, at least on the long sides, so we'll have our 4 posts on each corner, but I'm thinking we're gonna run, I'm going in between 1 or 2 2x4s down the length of each side to kind of give this, kind of reinforce the sides here. All right, now that I got these cut, This is for one bed. We're gonna, that's a 25 3/4. Actually, let's see if I wanna, if I do it at 25, I can just fold it. I'm gonna cut my 2x4s. Some people use 4x4s, but finding 4x4s that are untreated can be a little expensive because you're either going to get cedar or something specially ordered, at least around here. So let's go with 25, and I can always cut down. So we're going to go 25 3/4. And again, I stress gloves. Messing with sheet metal. So now we're going to cut the posts for the gardens at, what do we say, 25 3/4. By the way, this little saw right here, little Rockwell saw, $100. This is one of the most handy little saws that you can get for fairly cheap, at least that I've ever used. All right, so you got a 4-corner post. And so now we're going to set up the first one. I cut these to be the same height as the height of the bed, so 25 3/4 for these particular panels. All right, so I guess the way I'm going to go ahead and do this is, again, doing it on a budget. I'd rather have a 4x4, but this will work. So I'm going to go ahead and do this side first. And you're going to at least make it flush at the bottom. So the coolest thing about some of this stuff is you're a 1/4 inch off, which that's pretty big. It ain't going to make that big a deal. So we'll try to square that up. And actually, I'll do this just to kind of keep that. I'm going to figure out how I'm going to dull this edge, but here we go. All right, so doing this on a budget too. Everybody touts DeWalt, and they, great brand, or Milwaukee, Makita. Use Porter cable. These things are a lot cheaper, and this has done a lot more work than I've ever expected it could do, and save a little bit of money. All right, so now I got both ends up, and I'm just going to use a previous raised bed that we've got to prop up one end. If you have someone to help you out, make that a lot easier.
So what are you measuring for now?
Well, because of how thin this is, I think I'm going to put a brace, just a 2x4, down the center of it, just because that dirt gets really heavy, and so you don't want it to bulge out. So I want a little tip also. I say this because I didn't know this, and I know quite a few other people who didn't know this. A lot of times people are sitting here trying to, oh, how do I, you know, what 16th or 8th of a measurement am I? Some of these have a measurement of the length of the body of your tape measure housing. So in this case, it's 3 1/4 inch. So all you got to do is lock it right there. Yeah. So we're at 86 and 3/16. So you go from 86 and 3/16 and just add 3 1/4 to it. So add 3 to 89 and 3/16, and then add 1/4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So now we're at 89 and 7/16. So the length I need to cut this at is 89 and 7/16. That's one bed. So the center brace is a good idea. That'll help keep that from bulging. So another thought is if we could cut this all in half, we could make 8 beds. Because I mean, if you really need a bed this tall, I mean, I guess it's not a bad thing, but if you're trying to maximize your money, I spent less than $400. Now granted, we live in Northeast Oklahoma, so I don't know what the costs are going to be like in your area, but for less than $400, if we could cut this in half, we could have 8 of these beds and just further maximize the money we spent. Now for this, I had initially thought about just bending the sharp edge on top over. I mean, it's not sharp, but it's sharp enough that, you know, if you're not careful, you or a child could cut themselves really bad. I do believe they make a drip edge. I forgot to look at it and buy it, but that might be a much better idea. Basically, it's just a rolled edge so you don't cut yourself. So, all right, one down. If I decide to go this big with the others, I've got 3 more to go.